Can the 2024 Eagles defense do what the 2022 Eagles defense couldn't? Stop Patrick Mahomes. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Philly Sports, now a Philly fan podcast. My name is Zach. With me is Andrew, and we're back to talk all things Philly sports. Now, today is a defensive episode. My phone just went off. I have no idea where it is. Trying to find it to silence it as I'm talking. But, oh my gosh, let's just make it a whole thing. But anyway, right off the bat, right out of the gate, we're on a roll here. But we're gonna do Eagles defense talk today. Tomorrow's episode will be the finale, so to speak, to Super Bowl week. So, thank you as always to everyone listening on Spotify. Make sure you follow and give us a 5-star review. The Eagles defense was pretty tremendous in the 2022 season, and that was to very little credit given, except on here. I haven't re-listened to our podcast, but I distinctly remember us giving him his flowers at the time. Jonathan Gannon, man, you have the biggest difference right away is going to be Vic Fangio versus Jonathan Gannon. And it's really interesting to see the differences between these defenses, but also kind of the similarity in the teams themselves, in that having a strong defense definitely got us to the Super Bowl, got the Eagles to the Super Bowl. And I'm curious, Andrew's thoughts right away comparing these defenses before I get into a little bit of numbers I have here ready for us today.
Yeah, I think both these teams have very good defense. Chiefs defense has carried them through a lot of this season. Everyone, at the beginning of the year, talked about how the offense kind of looked right, so it was the Chiefs defense that was helping them win those games. They have very good players on that defensive end, or on the defensive side of the ball, and it's gonna be a challenge for both offenses at times to get into rhythm. The Chiefs are a very experienced team, led by Chris Jones there on the defensive tackle there for the Chiefs. Been around for a while. He's going to be that team leader on that defensive side. They got some young guys as well. Their safeties are pretty good, so we'll see how the Eagles try to use that on the offensive side. But obviously, the Eagles can say the same. We built the team through Zach Bond again in the offseason, the defensive player of the year finalist. Obviously, you have the two young guys, Quinyon Mitchell and Cooper DeJean, coming in, making a big statement. They're going to have their hands full against the Chiefs rookie and Xavier Worthy. So it's going to be a fun rookie battle there on the cornerback to receiver spot. So yeah, there's just talent everywhere. Obviously, that's why these teams made the Super Bowl. But Vic Fangio just can't get enough credit for the way he's fixed this defense from what we saw a year ago, from the coordinator position to now. And it's gone a long way. It's been the difference this season. And I'm excited to see what we got. And you got a lot of veterans on the Eagles side, too, that could be playing in their last game with the Eagles. Obviously, Brandon Graham, Darius Slay has hinted towards it being his last game with the Eagles. So I'm excited. I'm excited all around to see what these guys got and how we throw one more giant game here, one throw in the towel here for one last one, and put all their final spots here into one last game.
Yeah, so speaking of, I'm going to pull up this, since it is Wednesday, February 5th. We do have our Wednesday injury report, and all I'm going to say is what I see is Brandon Graham listed with an elbow injury as limited participation. But, so you're telling me he participated?
Exactly. I think he's going to play first.
Yeah, dude, limited participation is not... It's not listed. It's not did not participate. It's not out. It's not doubtful. It's limited participation, which is exactly what we discussed them utilizing him in game last week, is keep him in limitedly. Use him when it's necessary, when it's most impactful for moments such as the strip sack, right? Which happy 7th anniversary just passed to that. That's crazy. Which I'll do a quick jersey shout. I've got on the Zach Ertz Super Bowl 52 patch here, Super Bowl jersey. Hilarious because Andrew on the other side of the screen here has the current tight end with his Dallas Kelly Green jersey. So I
Yep.
love it. I love we got previous Super Bowl winner tight end and future Super Bowl winning tight end right there. I that's how I'm gonna stick with that. Um, but yeah, I mean, again, going to these defenses, you know, let's look at rankings. Is I think a just good way to kind of go off of this and get the ball rolling. Overall rankings with yards allowed, the Eagles were the number one defense this year. They as in the least amount of yards allowed, as opposed to in 2022 they were the number three. Number three is pretty damn good. It isn't number one though, that's for sure. Right?
Yeah, no, same with points per game. Opponents' points per game, 17, basically 18 points a game. The Eagles sit at first. So I'm excited. And the Chiefs, on the other hand, you have the Eagles who are ranked first, the Chiefs are ranked fourth. So two top five defenses there. Chiefs allow the 10th most yards for the season. They're at 327. So again, another top 10 category there for the Chiefs. So again, it's gonna be a battle. I get these two teams. The Chiefs will try to get through our line. That's where that's where it's going to be big for the Eagles, is to contain that defensive line there from Kansas City, because they love to get pressure on the quarterback. Well, and that's where they value that, and forcing them into some bad throws. And obviously, we've seen the Chiefs mix up plenty of different styles of defense there, and we'll see what they throw at them. You hear Jason Kelsey talk about it from the previous Super Bowl on the different things they threw at him, and yeah, he wishes he would have done a couple plays different, knowing what could have been coming there from the Chiefs defense. So I think all around it's going to be an interesting thing. And the big thing for me that the Chiefs aren't the best at, that the Eagles have done well, and obviously is always a big category, especially in big games, is the turnover category. And the Chiefs sit at 19th in takeaways per game. So obviously the bottom half of the league there. The Eagles have done an exceptionally well job the last few games, but especially since the bye week. But overall, I don't think, knock on wood, the Eagles have a turnover here in the postseason. So
We do not.
you use that to your credit there. And obviously the Eagles defense has been forcing a lot of turnovers here in the postseason. But overall, this Eagles team has forced turnovers very well this season, and they sit third in takeaways per game. So a big difference there, and I think that's going to be the big difference between these two defenses, is the turnovers forced, and the Eagles will get more turnovers forced in this game.
Yeah, and with going off that, I mean, we can mention in the NFC Championship, you could see clear as day the Eagles players going in with the classic punch the ball out of the hand, like quite literally how they forced at least one, if not two, of those fumbles I remember seeing. Um, but yeah, turnovers are definitely a thing the Eagles create. They create turnovers. It's awesome. It's a great thing to see. And with the lack of turnovers on the offensive side of the Eagles, it's been nothing but addition to the success. And that definitely also goes to credit of Jalen Hurts, right? Like, you have the defense creating turnovers and Hurts not losing the ball when he's sacked and getting rid of the ball correctly. So I really hope that kind of parallel continuation does keep going.
Yeah, no, for sure. And the big thing too, I think the Eagles do well, obviously in this playoffs, that I think has given them the advantage as well, as you can take it a step further, and it's not just the defense; it's the special teams that have been creating turnovers as well. You saw the opening kickoff against Green Bay, then you saw it against Washington as well. So that's another key spot here. The Eagles have done a great job forcing turnovers, is from that special teams, and maybe you get a big special teams play here on Sunday as well, and that could be the big difference in this game. The other category for me I wanted to touch on specifically was the red zone defense. And obviously, the Eagles have done a great job. You saw it against Washington, not allowing that touchdown. They forced Washington into some field goals early on in the game that proved to be a big difference. And I think that's where it's going to come down to. Again, we just talked about the defenses. You have two top 10 defenses in this category in opponent red zone scoring. The Eagles are at 48%, allowing their opponent to score for fifth in the league, while the Chiefs are sitting at 52%, 10th in the league. So again, another advantage Eagles there, and a big thing. Obviously, we haven't faced the Chiefs this year, so we haven't seen it against the Chiefs, but you're going to have to keep Mahomes out of the end zone, obviously, and see if you can get them to hold them to some field goals, and again, with some long fourth down spots, and force them to some field goals, which an area both teams have struggled with this year is field goals. Obviously, we've seen Jake Elliott struggle. He's sitting at 78%. Chiefs are sitting at 78% as well. So two areas that you could see come up big here is forcing them in some field goal traps.
Yeah, I mean, we definitely need Jake Elliott to step up, and special teams, defense, same kind of conversation side of a coin. But like, it's you said it in our last in our props episode, but we really need Elliott to deliver on Sunday. I've been saying it all postseason. I've been saying it for all 30 weeks or whatever. A missed field goal could cost the game. The Eagles lost by 3 points in Super Bowl 57. That's all you need is one missed field goal. So whether it's coaching staff not utilizing Elliott in further range or whether it's making sure he is capable, it is going to be some tough decision making on Sunday that they need to have a perfect handle on.
Yeah, no, they have to. I mean, especially, you mentioned it. The difference last time, 3 points. Go to the Super Bowl. The Eagles won, right? He had that big field goal before halftime. He had the field goal to extend the lead to 8 points. That obviously was big. They're late in the game, forcing them into the Hail Mary try at the end. So yeah, it's gonna be big all around. And I mean, to win the big game, you have to play almost a perfect game, and that will come with special teams as well. And Jake Elliott, I know we've got on them before, but all can be forgotten with a good performance on Sunday.
Absolutely.
And with two good red zone defenses, the Eagles are going to be held to at least one field goal. So,
yeah,
it's gonna be big.
Yeah, and the red zone, right? Like if you have to take a field goal there, that's fine, but you just can't miss that. That's what he had a missed red zone field goal this postseason, if I remember correctly. At least recently, if it wasn't the postseason.
Yeah,
and you just can't. That's it. That is that's what I'm saying though. Like, is Sirianni should know better at this point. We can't be kicking a 58, 60-yard field goal. Like that's not his forte right now. So you have to be smart enough and punt those balls or go for it with a touch push, depending on where you are. Like, it's that's a big part of coaching staff, in my opinion. They need to know how to play, which I trust this coaching staff to do since they got us to another Super Bowl, going to the Super Bowl again. But also a red zone field goal, if necessary, like that has to be 3 points on the board every time.
Yeah, and no, for sure, and it's gonna come. It's very well could come down to that, and to get there, I think one big thing too is that you saw it early on in the Washington game is the Eagles got to do a little better job. I think the one spot I want to see them improve here for the postseason is it seems like we're giving up a lot of third downs, and that's part of the Eagles got to win that first down battle. And I felt like the last game, obviously, toward the end of the game, it was a completely different story. That's how you got the big lead. But early on that game, you kept losing first downs. What I mean by that, you're not giving up a first down every time on first down. Is you're giving up too much yardage on first down, which is allowing two more easy plays, allowing short yardage like 2nd and 4s, which are leading to 3rd and 1s and leading those easy conversions. You got to win first down, allow, 3 yards or less, probably force that 2nd and 7, eventually getting to the 3rd and 7. So that's where the Eagles need to come out strong. I feel like is win those first downs, which will lead to a better third down conversion percentage and get back to what we saw in the regular season, where it's a top 10 defense on third down.
Now, with that being said, though, Andrew, something kind of hypothetical. The Commanders did it. Like it's kind of Eagles aren't known to take a huge lead in the first quarter, right? If the Chiefs go down the field, eat up 6-7 minutes of clock, first drive, and get a field goal, get a touchdown, even, how upset or worried are you at that moment?
I think it would not that worried yet. I think it's obviously, like you said, we've seen it all year. The Eagles have done that, allowed that first one, and then that you see them adjust to the game. Obviously, the Chiefs are a way different team in terms of adjusting compared to some other teams we've seen this year. But I think you have to trust what this team's done all season. They've done it against good teams. They've done it against bad teams. They make the adjustments in game. So frustrated, obviously. I mean, that goes without saying. Obviously, we'll be frustrated, but I mean, in terms of worried, it would not that worried. I mean, you can't go out and give up back-to-back touchdowns, right? It's going to be on the offense then. At that point, if you give up that first down, they'll go get a 3 and out, and then give the chance a chance to go up 14-0, right? But I think that's where you have to trust this team, and what we've seen throughout the season is they've kind of lived off, let the team go off whatever script they have coming into the game, and then make those adjustments and go from there. And I think you'll see a little bit of that on the first drive. It's again force them into 3 points and not 7. I think you're in really good shape there off the opening drive.
Yeah, I mean, long story short is I know my Philadelphia Italian emotions are going to come out of me if and when that happens. However, as an intellectual, I do plan on trying to keep a cool head in that situation because that is what they've done all season. And quite honestly, they thrive on that moment as long as the offense then delivers. Again, in my opinion, with Patrick Mahomes being Patrick mother flipping Mahomes, the defense job on Sunday is to keep the Eagles in the game. It's not to keep the Chiefs from scoring because that's not possible. Like, that's not really likely. Although I did see one analyst predict the under for this game, which I thought was a wild choice. But as good as this defense is, I just don't anticipate you can stop Patrick Mahomes. There's a reason he just beat the most likely MVP award-winning quarterback of the NFL this season. There's a reason, like, he just knows what to do, dude. He knows how to play the game. He's got that NBA mentality where he knows when to make it look bad. He knows how to play the refs. And I'm not diving into a whole drama or a whole conspiracy. I'm just saying he knows how to play smart. It's kind of like LeBron flopping first situation. Like, he just knows how to do it. And that's why he's going to play well. The defense here, you don't have to win the game with defense, but you have to keep us in the game.
Exactly. And I think off your NBA analogy there, I'll echo that. And it's kind of like, I'll use LeBron since you brought him up. When you face LeBron, right, he's getting his points. There's no shutting down LeBron. It's shutting down everything else, the other X factors there. And it's just like the Chiefs. They're going to score their points. You're not going to get the Chiefs a big 0. You're not going to get the Chiefs held to 3 or 7. They're going to get their points. It's about limiting the points, holding them to those field goal tries instead of certain touchdowns, letting them live off the field goals and countering theirs with your own. And again, that's what it's going to be. And to your point, I mean, yeah, I'm surprised that people pick the under too with both these offenses, but I mean, we've talked about it here today. I mean, with how good these defenses are, you have the Eagles who give up just under 18 a game. You have the Chiefs who give up just under 20. So, I don't expect to see it, but you could find yourself in a way, I guess, into two battles like that. And I'm really curious too how the main thing that slightly worries me about this Eagles defense, and again, slightly, and I say that because it hasn't bothered them to this point, is because you do still have veterans on the team, but it is, you're living off two of your best cornerbacks are very young, right? 2 rookies. You can't let the big moment get to you. And obviously, we hear that time to time with young players. And I don't expect it. Again, we've seen them not be phased throughout this year. So I don't expect to see that again today. Or sorry, not today, Sunday. But yeah, that worry in the back end of my head is still slightly there. But but the best part about that though is on the other end that one of them will be guarding is also a rookie. So it kind of counters that in a way a little bit too. So I'm excited to see it. And you have a lot of guys playing in their second one that were here before, but you also have a lot of new guys, like we mentioned. Your best player in Zach Bond, right? And then Oren Burke steps up and he takes over for Nakobe Dean. So he's kind of getting those reps now. So yeah, I'm excited to see how Vic Fangio comes out, draws this defensive scheme for Sunday, and I'm ready. I'm ready to see it. I wish we don't have to continue to wait through these last few days.
Is Cooper DeJean, is he the standout change of this roster compared to 2022? Defensively speaking.
I mean, I don't think you can pick personally over him or Mitchell. I think
I
they go
mean,
hand in hand.
I assume you're not going
Um,
to go with Bryce Huff, but I just had to check,
yeah,
you know.
right. um, no, I think they go hand in hand. I think Cooper really changed the outlook of the season in terms of you saw how they struggled a little bit before the bye. They starting him after the bye week, and obviously it's done wonders for this defense. But I think and I'm a big Darius Slay guy. I know I talk about that a lot, but when you have the opportunity to have him go from your number one guy from that year, and I've always liked Slay, but I mean let's be real. Obviously, age catches up to everyone in the league, and you kind of start seeing that. But when you move him from your number one cornerback to number three cornerback, I mean that's crazy. Like he's a very, very, very good number three back, right? He's an okay number one cornerback.
Yeah.
So I think that's where this really has gone a long way. Is you slide him down to three where really he could be a number two on a lot of teams, and you use him as number three, where then both rookies jump up to that 1 and 2 spot. And the depth on this team has been great. So I think in terms of the difference in 2022, I think Mitchell and Cooper go hand in hand there and really have done a lot for this team.
Yeah, and kind of going into that, I'll say the defense against the passing game, we, as in the Eagles, were ranked number one, both 2022, 2024. I don't think I mentioned this already. Just the fact that both passing defense, yards allowed through receptions, the Eagles had the best possible outcome. It is them ready for this game. And as long as the sod father and his garbage grass isn't anywhere near this field, I hope our corners have a much better time handling these receivers and Mahomes.
Yeah, and I think it's all going to start from the pass rush. I think, and that goes on what you're saying is they got to. I mean, I know someone mentioned they wish they would have changed cleats at halftime or something. If that's what they got to do, go out and do that then. I mean, we saw them slipping in that last Super Bowl. I mean, this team lives off the pass rush. If you can get to Mahomes, force him into some tough throws, and then the corners will go a long way. I think that's when you start to see, especially with the receiving core and obviously Travis Kelce at tight end that Mahomes has to throw to. If you're going to give him too much time and you can't get that pass rush, those guys are going to find ways to get open. It's almost impossible for from corners to guard receivers for so long when the quarterbacks are getting so much time to throw. So it starts with the pass rush, and linebacker is going to be the key on Travis Kelce here this weekend, and that starts with Josh Sweat, Zach Bond for this team, and Oren Burks too. Stepping up in the big role. So we'll see.
Speaking of the line, only illness I see worth talking about, literally an illness. Jalen Carter not practicing because he's sick. Doesn't look like it's injury related, but we concerned at all about this?
Not yet. We're far enough out. I mean, we'll see. If it was Friday
full of IVs, that's all I gotta say.
Yeah, I'm not worried about that.
All right, Andrew. Anything else on defense before we wrap this up?
I guess I'll just give a key defensive player, I guess, in this one, and
it's a great idea.
I'm gonna go with obviously there's the easy answers here, Jalen Carter and everything on the defensive line. But again, I'm gonna stick to what I've been saying. I'm gonna go linebacker road. I'm gonna say Zach Bond's gonna have to be the key. Obviously, he's done it all year, but I'm really worried about Travis Kelce in this game. We saw what Zach Ertz was able to do against his defense, and obviously it didn't matter as much with the outlook of that game. But we've seen tight ends hurt this team in the past, and Travis Kelce, again, he knows how to beat this team. He's been around for a while.
And Kelsey's hot right now in the postseason.
Yeah, he's like a young Travis Kelce again all of a sudden when he gets to the postseason. And this guy averages 63 yards a game against the Eagles in his career. He's had a touchdown in every game but one. So, again, I think it's going to come up to Zach Bond to continue doing what he's been doing, show us the defensive player finalist we've seen all year, and find a way to – I think Travis Kelce, similar to what we just talked about. You're not going to stop Travis Kelce, so find a way to slow him down.
All right, and I guess last thing, are we losing Vic Fangio after the season, you think?
I don't. I think with his age being on the older side, he's kind of hinted towards not wanting that head coaching spot. I think Fangio is back.
All right. Thank you, everyone, for listening to Philly Sports Now, Philly Fan Podcast. We will be talking offense next. That's going to be releasing on Friday, February 7th. Make sure you listen to that to get our score predictions and final thoughts on Super Bowl 59. Thank you, everyone, for listening. Make sure you like and follow and share. And thank you, as always. Go Birds.